Hello friends, Calina here of StoryRetold, continuing with my reactions to Arglefumph's Everything Wrong with the Nancy Drew Games series. Here's one that I've kind of been dreading because I anticipate a lot. This is Ransom of the Seven Ships. Please check out the playlist below for Arglefumph's complete series on the Nancy Drew Games, and be sure to give him a thumbs up and follow if you agree or if you are entertained by his videos at least. So here we go. Okay, no audio here. But I love the intro. Everything wrong. Spoilers. There are spoilers.
Nancy goes on vacation and accidentally uncovers a mystery cliche.
Classic.
Nancy is not at all suspicious of the names Dread Isle or Calamity Bay.
Not dangerous.
There shouldn't be a space after this ellipsis.
Oh.
There's George.
Who is Nancy talking to here?
Audience.
Where is Nancy's luggage?
Good point.
The plane is flying in George's direction, but the pilot doesn't see her running and waving her arms for help.
Yeah.
Ever since
rude.
I found that ransom note.
This entire game is George's fault. If she had any sense, she would have been waiting on the dock when Nancy arrived, so she could talk to the pilot and immediately inform the authorities.
Yeah.
Instead, she hides inside the whole time playing on her phone, causing her to miss the pilot and forcing Nancy to go on a 400-year-old scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get this satellite phone to work so we can call for help. So far, no luck. I feel so useless.
That's because you are useless, George.
Ouch.
I should have gone with her, but I was just so tired.
Let me get this straight. The only reason George wasn't kidnapped is because she was tired and wanted a nap? George!
Hey, I don't blame her. Every once in a while, a girl needs her nap.
I woke up this morning. Bess's bed hadn't been slept in, and
Where are these beds that George speaks of?
Yeah, good point, because we can't see the sleeping arrangements or the sleeping quarters.
George is tan.
What's wrong with it?
Hoping to get all three of you down there, but your pal George lucked out.
Dwayne expected to have 2 kidnapping victims, but all of his notes mention 1 kidnapping victim.
Ah, well, maybe he typed it. Good point. Wouldn't he have typed it up with some sort of computer and printer? Because, yeah, looks like he planned only 1.
Nancy follows a scavenger hunt to fabulous treasure cliche.
I like that cliche.
Why can't Nancy try to fix the phone?
Yeah, good point.
Nancy's the one who's good at fixing things, after all.
Yeah. I don't know.
Nancy starts and finishes a treasure hunt in less time than it takes George to fix a phone.
Yeah.
found some walkie-talkies. Here.
Instead of turning around and handing over the walkie-talkie, Nancy throws it backwards over her shoulder without looking at George.
What is?
I've solved a case in every spot that's marked on this map.
Probably just a coincidence.
George is an idiot.
No, George is optimistic.
Some fisherman just happens to be camping on the very beach where Bess disappears. That's way too much of a coincidence for me.
George is suspicious of Johnny, but not suspicious of how the culprit tracked the last several years of Nancy's life.
Yeah.
Why did Dwayne put this map here anyway?
To creep her out, maybe? So, you know, kind of like a stalker sort of vibe. I'd be unnerved.
This puzzle needs instructions.
There aren't instructions for this puzzle? I don't remember. I thought there was supposed to be something like that off to the side or something. Maybe there isn't?
That looks right, but I still need a battery.
It is confusing to have Nancy say this right after solving a puzzle with 4 batteries.
Are those batteries? I don't remember, but they don't look like it. They look like components to me.
Cuckoo, that's weird. You look just like this bird I met in England named Lulu.
How does Nancy not notice the picture of Lulu in the background?
Yeah, it does, well, because the birds look very similar. I mean, I'm sure a lot of double-headed yellow Amazon... What is the type of bird name again? What bird? I don't know.
Instead of getting a second character in this game, we get a parrot and monkeys.
Animals?
We're going
Yay!
to find out who it is.
Is by finding Bess.
Nancy pauses in the middle of her sentence.
Seen a key. I'm not sure if it's the key.
George found a key, but she didn't try to use it on anything because she's useless in this game.
How?
Where they store the sails.
Sails are in the sail bin. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Awesome.
Math puzzles already? 5 minutes in and my brain hurts.
Yeah, I
like
agree.
this puzzle, but I had a hard time keeping track of where I was on this 15-step list, especially since I had to do multiplication at the same time.
I know, it's a tricky one.
This game teases us with multiple shots of Nancy from a distance.
Yeah.
Quit messing with us and show us what Nancy looks like already.
They wanted to keep it a surprise, or wanted to keep it in the imagery of whoever it is that's playing. They didn't want to give away, it's hard to explain, but they did that for the fans.
This puzzle.
Yeah, that puzzle was kind of used in, the translation puzzle, it was kind of used in future games. I didn't realize that came this far back.
These pages read like they were written yesterday, when they're supposed to be written 400 years ago by a non-native English speaker.
Yeah,
El
good
Toro
point.
still writes perfect English after several years on the island, even though there are no books or people to help him keep up his proficiency in the language.
Well, I mean, if you're fluent in a language before getting abandoned, then that makes sense.
Each letter has the same symbol in this puzzle, but in the title screen, the letter S has 4 different symbols.
Yeah, I think that was a stylized thing for the title.
The game gives you no indication when you've solved this puzzle correctly,
Aww.
which made me think I had the wrong solution.
No, that is a good point, though. We need a little bit of assurance that we did it correctly, or that we have some sort of feedback when it was done.
There's only one suspect in this mystery.
I know.
This makes the culprit's identity super obvious.
I know.
Nancy isn't suspicious of Johnny, even though he's the only person who could have kidnapped Bess.
Right.
Nancy isn't suspicious of Johnny, even though he has a human-sized trap set up in the exact same spot where Bess disappeared.
Unless she's not proclaiming her suspicions out loud. Maybe she's keeping it to herself. But yeah, that's a good point. She should be commenting on this kind of thing.
Nancy never tries to search Johnny's area.
Because he never leaves.
But if you want it, you must earn it.
Nancy does everyone else's chores cliche.
Yeah.
Driving in this game is slow and boring, and the shortcuts do not help save much time.
I agree. I really agree. I wish that after we travel there at least once, we could, like, fast travel through a map. But for the sake of mixing it up and doing navigation differently for each game, this is probably why they did this. I'm not sure, though. I agree. It's slow and boring.
Nancy goes rock climbing without a helmet, ropes, or any other equipment.
For shame.
Nancy goes rock climbing without any equipment, but she refuses to swim without any equipment.
Oh, you know, oxygen. It's overrated.
The monkeys throw rocks at Nancy
Underrated?
to keep her from reaching the top of the mountain.
Rude.
The monkeys are jerks.
Yeah.
The monkeys never run out of rocks to throw.
I know.
Nancy could easily walk around the monkeys here, but she doesn't. Instead, she lets them boss her around.
Come on, Nancy.
You can't see the ear of the monkey with the notched ear. This puzzle is almost impossible on senior mode.
Is it? I don't know if I played it on senior. It's probably hard.
Lost that game.
These monkeys are jerks.
They are.
Who taught the monkeys to laugh at Nancy?
Really know how to play a game?
Nancy asked this question to the monkey multiple times. Nancy, you just played a game with the monkey. Why are you asking if it can play games? Nancy doesn't tell George that Johnny captured her and tied her up.
Oh, come on.
Top inch of the screen is a
I agree.
guava meter. They easily could have kept the guavas in Nancy's inventory and given us a larger screen instead.
Fair argument.
Nancy is unable to read the How to Sail book before she goes sailing.
My boat and my metal detector, they are my only true possessions.
Says the man who is surrounded by many possessions.
True possessions? Like things that are very special to him, maybe?
You must give me the compass which the monkey with the notched ear stole from my boat.
Why does Johnny need a compass when he has a working GPS?
Yeah, good point, but, well, I mean, you could still use a compass on land, and...
I think I'm up to date on my diving certification.
Wow, how convenient! With 1600s technology, El Toro and his men created this elaborate network of puzzles, including timers, retractable walls, and underwater segments.
Impressive, huh? Yeah.
Every piece of these puzzles is in perfect condition despite being 400 years old. This island has a famous lost treasure, but since everything is still in place, no treasure hunters must have come here before. You can't swim past some parts of the ship.
That's
This made me
unfortunate.
think you can't swim past any parts of the ship, so I got stuck because the solution is to swim over the middle of the ship.
Oh, yeah, that could have been done a little bit better. I agree.
This puzzle's hard enough without a time limit.
I know, time puzzles are difficult.
It's a hassle to do 5 translation puzzles in a row, especially since you have to keep going back and forth between the astrolabe and the book every couple of letters. Apparently, El Toro was a big fan of Secret of the Scarlet Hand.
Grammarly does.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Can walk to the mirrors on the right in order to adjust them, but she can't take 2 extra steps to reach the treasure.
Logic, I
Nancy
know.
can only tilt these mirrors in 2 positions. Mirrors don't work like that in real life. Why do the lights go out the instant Nancy gets this thing?
Somebody moved a mirror.
Nancy's walkie-talkie never emits static, except at this one moment where you need to remember it exists.
It'd take you a while to get anywhere down there on foot, I can tell you that.
And yet George easily crosses the entire island on foot.
Ah, she's a
Picture on the
jogger.
outside of this jigsaw puzzle doesn't match the picture you're trying to make. George clearly put jigsaw puzzle pieces down in the lower left corner, but when we start slider puzzle mode, the lower left corner is empty. Instead of giving George a ride back to the resort, Nancy forces George to walk there. Dwayne made up a fake identity for his fake identity. Talk about obsessive.
Yeah, I agree. That is a bit obsessive, and I can understand a villain taking extra precaution to hide their identity in case some sort of hiccup is involved. But yeah, bad guys will do bad guy stuff. He doesn't look very tan in that picture, huh?
Thanks to Johnny's alternate identity, they had to re-record and reanimate all of his dialogue. That seems like a ton of work with no payoff. Why couldn't they have put all that time into giving us a second character?
I don't know that the budget accounts for it in that way. I agree we totally could have had more characters. I don't know necessarily that one character actor charged twice as much or anything like that. I think from my experience working on the team, they were paid one solid fee. And I don't know what happened with missing the original voice actor. I really don't know.
Johnny lies about his identity once, but Nancy believes him the second time.
Shame on you, Nancy.
A metal rod that height? The one Cuckoo the parrot is perched on.
Nancy instantly recognizes Cuckoo's perch as being half a fathom tall. Every piece of driftwood on this island just happens to be the exact same height.
Every single piece? Well, I mean, the pieces that she has to choose from to pick up, probably.
Since all the driftwood is the same height as Cuckoo's perch, why can't Nancy use driftwood in place of Cuckoo's perch? Nancy can only take one piece of driftwood at a time.
I know, that's too bad.
Why not?
4 branches! Cuckoo want perch with 4 branches!
Cuckoo is way too picky. Yeah, you could do the math for this puzzle, but it's way easier to just check in every spot until you find the right one.
That's true.
This scene convinces Nancy there are multiple kidnappers, when it could easily be one person running.
Yeah.
This happens when Nancy is using the astrolabe on top of the mountain. Either Dwayne somehow has a way to spy on Nancy while she's up there, or he has amazing timing.
I'm gonna guess amazing timing, and also that he's been just kind of casually spying on Nancy, but I think this was also a fun homage to the TV show Lost.
These islands don't exist until Nancy sees them through the astrolabe. In real life, things still exist even if you haven't seen them before. If you try to start sailing by going east, the game assumes you're trying to stop sailing. Nancy sees a flash of light on the island and instantly knows it came from George's area.
Yeah, that's a good question right there.
Look, I'm on it. Over and out.
How does George not hear the monkeys? Johnny ignores George to save on animation.
I'm afraid I'm just gonna have to bug you until you give it to me. Sorry.
Here is what I will do.
I'm not going anywhere until you help me find Bess. Hey. Hey! Hello?
When Nancy bugs Johnny, he gives in to her. When George bugs Johnny, he ignores her. George stole Nancy's magnifying glass? What a jerk!
Yeah.
George has different bangs in this picture.
Yeah, that's true.
This puzzle is pure chance, making it very frustrating when you lose.
I agree.
To a monkey, I hate that.
It sounds like this happens to George often.
Okay.
Scuba diving? Are you nuts? With all the sharks around here?
George, this place is called the Shark Diving Ecotourism Resort.
Good
I would
point.
expect people to swim with sharks here.
Right.
George, contrary to what the movies would have you believe, sharks rarely attack humans. Especially when they live in a healthy ecosystem like this, where they have lots of real fish to eat. If I don't bother them, they're not going to bother me.
This has been a public service announcement by Nancy Drew.
Yes. I mean, I think that sounded pretty deliberate on her interactive's part. Yeah. No, it helps. I mean, not everybody is educated about sharks. So when the media and movies really influence that as a young person, it might have a tendency to believe the media and movies instead of what it's really like out there. So I appreciate this.
Pretty much convinced the Gibsons are the ones who kidnapped Bess in order to get me to find that treasure for them.
Sure, let's ignore the obvious culprit and zero in on the people who aren't even here.
Yeah.
The Gibsons went on vacation without leaving anyone behind to take care of their resort or pet parrot.
Cuckoo is free, so she can fly out and find food.
There is still an octopus in this cave after 400 years.
Maybe it's just a really hot spot for octopus.
Nancy can only take one shell at a time.
Rude.
This puzzle.
Oh.
We never get told how Bess's bracelet ended up buried in the beach she never visited.
Oh, good point.
This
No, I wonder... Ooh, I got an update on my computer. I wonder if that was just kind of like a red herring. Like, the culprit took that from Bess and tried to move her clues to another location just to keep Nancy spinning.
Puzzle.
Program my GPS with the obstacles on this chart. I won't be able to get off this island until that's done.
None of these obstacles are in the way. All Johnny has to do is sail directly west to reach San Salvador.
Oh.
This
Okay, that's a little loud.
puzzle. Nancy ignores all this treasure in favor of an out-of-date map. If Nancy calls George after finding the treasure, she says nothing happened.
Okay, I agree about that timed hourglass puzzle. It's really hard. I don't like it myself.
Nancy, you're here. This just showed up on the porch.
George is so unobservant, Dwayne is able to leave multiple notes for her without her noticing him.
Ooh, yeah.
How does Dwayne know Nancy found the treasure? Could
following
he
her.
see what she was doing in the underwater cave system? Dwayne insists that Nancy come alone, even though that means George could show up unexpectedly and foil his plans.
The good news is I found the treasure. It's a map.
And a bunch of gold, but nobody cares about that for some reason.
I know, right? Like, come on. Nancy needs to finally take the treasure that's available to her. And all of it, too. Not just parts of it.
The bottom of Dwayne's shirt changes color here after every line of dialogue.
Ooh, yeah, good
Conveniently
catch.
for the animation department, Dwayne removes his disguise off camera.
Yeah.
New York, the one who threatened the life of Rick Arlen.
Animation could have been
You're
better.
the
Yeah.
agent.
This game spoils the culprit of the second Nancy Drew game.
Yes, but the second Nancy Drew game has been out by the point of this game release. It's been out for a long time. And I think at the time when this was released, it was not really compatible with the latest operating system. It is now. I mean, it could be installed now, but...
It's Dwayne Powers.
The voice actor doesn't even try to imitate Dwayne's voice.
I was disappointed
I
in
love
that, too.
Dwayne, but they got Shorty's voice actor to play him. Why didn't they make Shorty the culprit? He would have fit the story much better than Dwayne does.
Right.
Dwayne goes from intense murdering culprit to calm treasure hunter culprit.
Yeah.
Why is Dwayne no longer obsessed with getting revenge on Rick Arlen?
He couldn't decode it, nor could I.
Let me get this straight. Dwayne was smart enough to put this entire plan into motion, but not smart enough to solve a simple letter cipher?
Right.
Dwayne shuffles around awkwardly while Nancy explains the plot of the game.
I thought you went to prison.
I did. For several long years.
Dwayne spent several years in prison, but Nancy hasn't aged at all.
That's true.
Nancy doesn't see this rope trick coming. Nancy is an idiot.
That's also
How
true.
did Dwayne move Nancy from the upside-down net to this hole? Where is this hole?
Yeah, that's a
Beth
good point.
stands around and says nothing while Nancy and Dwayne talk to each other for 36 seconds.
Maybe she's asleep?
The M dash is split up into 2 different lines here. By total coincidence, Dwayne traps Nancy in El Toro's hidden treasure room.
Had he looked?
Bess
Yeah.
doesn't want to talk to Nancy. This glitch where Bess disappears.
Ah! That's an actual glitch. Oh, good catch.
This puzzle.
No, it's fine.
She even called the FBI, but they put her on hold.
Rude.
Even though Nancy worked for the Italian FBI 2 games ago.
A different FBI.
Fortunately, it doesn't look like anyone will ever know for sure.
Too bad,
What
huh?
happened to Dwayne?
I know.
We need closure for Dwayne.
Right?
The credits list 3 characters who didn't appear in this game.
Really? Oh, no, the pilot was in there, yeah. Roy MacGuffin, Kidnapper 1, 2. I want to explore the theory of what this game could have been. Who are the... Oh, dear, I need to look into this. I don't know if I can because I don't have access to the data anymore, but... Wow. 140 problems. Monkey trainer in prison for several long years. Oh, dear goodness.
Here's a problem which didn't make it into the final video. Nancy can talk to the monkeys. She can say, "How are you doing today?" and "Hey, how are you?" And the monkeys don't respond to her because monkeys don't talk. Why did they even bother to include those dialogue options?
That's a good point. Anyways, I wasn't... there's a lot in here. I know. I didn't care much for this game. Too many puzzles, not enough story, not enough characters. But that's me. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are down in the comments below. And give a thumbs up. I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Ugh.